Euro Truck Simulator 2, Truckers MP, the Calais to Duisburg Road. It's the hotspot that thousands of users visit to see chaotic driving and very silly behavior. The road itself stretches from Calais to Duisburg, giving players a simple route straight into the middle of Europe. With the Benelux update in version 1.59, it has been reskinned into a series of highways. You can still go from Calais to Duisburg, just not via one continuous country road. Let's take a look back at what the road was and the legacy it left behind. To discuss the impact this one road has had, let's start from the beginning. May of 2014, Truckers MP, or ETS2 MP at the time, had just started, and of course the player base was very small. So was the map, but it allowed people to spread out and drive anywhere they wanted. Within a month, people had started to gather in the small area towards the midwest of the map. Europort. At the time, it was one of the easiest ways to go between the UK and mainland Europe. Look at that player list. Over time, it seemed to become a hotspot, because of course, people will want to check out an area that already has a lot of people. Some people really enjoy being stuck in a virtual traffic jam. The road leading towards Europort started from a dual carriageway with one lane on either side merging over. You'd think that people would adopt the merge-in-turn method, using both lanes until the end and then merging one by one like a zipper. But no. The area at the end was a small square, with a safe zone that stretched out into the road itself. It's likely that the area blew up due to a missing feature right from the start. I'd be surprised if you hadn't noticed, but Truckers MP has never had NPC traffic, like in single player. So, some roads can seem very lonely if you're the only one around. People will naturally seek company, and this is where they found it. Videos such as this one from Squirrel likely contributed to people going to that area and joining the multiplayer overall. He might have been the reason I started playing too. In late 2014, the map website went live, showing where all the players were while on the servers. It's centered around Europort first, meaning anyone that loaded the page will see that and all of its dots, likely continuing the curiosity of what was going on there. Before we fast forward a lot, I'd suggest checking out this video I had made to try and find out when and why the switch happened. I came close to finding out, but it's still somewhat of a mystery. I'd also suggest subscribing, of course. Anyway, in late spring of 2017, the newly renamed Truckers MP, after ATS's release in February 2016, launched their Discord server. This was already after the start of the migration to CD had begun, as many players were still in the Europort area. Some even preferred it. The layout of the original CD has remained unchanged in single player to this day, excluding the Duisburg part. A train crossing, an intersection where the priority signs were inverted, and some small fuel stations. All but the train crossing will see upgrades over the following years to try and help with the rapidly growing traffic issues. Over those next few years, the road continued to grow in popularity, as more and more people became aware of the long jams and pile-ups. For those interested, there are a few terms to describe why people are likely to check out something that's already busy, like the CD road. The first is the bandwagon effect, where people may adopt behaviors or attitudes because others are already doing so. The second is somewhat similar, social proof, coined by Robert, and it mentions that people will determine the correct behavior by observing other people, especially when unsure. If everyone is wearing a green scarf, you may wonder if you should too. The third term is the more common herd mentality, where people are likely to follow others, especially in groups, sometimes without thinking why. For the CD road, all of these terms can work. Why are so many people here? I should check it out. These people are overtaking. Maybe I can too. The growth of the road may have also been helped by a new type of content. The cleverly named Idiots on the Road was, and still is, a compilation series showing numerous crashes and extremely bad behavior, often centered around the CD road. It's believed to have been started by this channel, as early as the first month of ETS2 MP. Over the years and hundreds of episodes later, that series definitely encouraged others to start their own, with some still ongoing. With the road continuing to grow in popularity, the traffic jams were getting longer and longer, and it was clear that the road couldn't handle the insane amounts of traffic, so a series of reskins were added to try and help. In late April of 2021, the Brussels intersection was redesigned. turning it into a much larger area with clear on-off ramps and allowing traffic to pass through the middle without stopping. It's still a topic of debate to this day, with some opinions saying it's far too big for the area, a small country road with a medium-sized highway over the top, linked by an enormous American-sized intersection. In late 2022, the Truckers MP team redesigned the city of Duisburg. Before this, it was a tiny area, with a few industries and a small service station. The redesign ensured the entrance and exit roads were on opposite sides, and players had many clear paths to different areas. For April Fools of 2023, most of the CD road was jokingly reskinned into a dual carriageway, with different fuel stations and rest areas. Surprisingly, instead of causing an uproar for changing their beloved road, players actually liked this design, and many wanted to keep it. While inevitable the area would eventually turn into a real highway, the Benelux reskin that is now in place wasn't revealed until 2 years after this prank. In the summer of 2023, a unique event took place. Real Operations is arguably Truckers MP's largest event, where the team roleplay a series of realistic scenarios within a certain area of the map. This event was Featured Zone, which was a much smaller version set up in one specific area. The area in question was Calais. The event lasted for around a month, and it gave us the overhead gantries we still see today. Calais was probably selected because it was the ideal testing area for such an event, hundreds of people already passing through it, so it gave them some extra realism. In late 2023, the fuel station in the middle of the CD road had a redesign, also by the Truckers MP team, not only making it much larger, but splitting the lanes to prevent crossovers, which were the most common cause of traffic jams. Players now had sufficient space to refuel and park up. The immediate thought was on whether the other fuel station would be changed as well. In May of 2024, as part of the ongoing Germany reskin, Duisburg and its surrounding area was changed, completely changing the city's layout, adding a bunch of larger intersections, and most importantly, turning the last part of the CD road into a dual carriageway. The end of CD had begun. In the summer of 2024, the second edition of Featured Zone took place. This time it was in the Alps. This event, much like the first, was set along a specific road, with various construction zones and lane closures in place. While the Austria rework happened 2 years before, this may have been the first instance of that road having as much traffic as the CD road did, resulting in people using that road more, and directly comparing it to CD. It wasn't the first event to take place there though. That year's Easter hunt took place on the same road, with many people rushing up and down to try and find the various eggs, of which I was one of them. In early 2025, as anticipated, the fuel station closest to Calais also got a reskin by the Truckers MP team. This one followed a similar pattern, fully split lanes with sufficient space to turn off and park up, including a small area for patrons to park. Up to today, that is how the road has remained. It took several months for traffic to fully migrate from Europort to CD. Players will often have their favorite roads and areas to explore, and with a lack of NPC traffic, the feeling of being lonely on a distant DLC road is understandable. Will they stay on the highway version of CD, or will they migrate again? What will the next 10 years look like? Thanks for watching.